that's always fun when it's not invented out of cleverness, but invented out of the situation. We were dealing with what was in the room. And since we were shooting in chronological order, we had a kind of presence and a kind of practicality to what we were doing. We didn't have to pay off anything. We were doing what we were doing, and we were finding interesting ways to shoot it.
By having the luxury of shooting chronologically, we would expand to that and try new things and try things that were coming on our way and try improvising. So I would say that there is a big percentage of the film, like 30, I would say even 40% of the film that were not scripted. There are things that we were finding on our way.
When I was a kid, my teacher asked me what I would save from my house if it were on fire. I answered, my sketchbook, my AC/DC album, and my cat Groucho. I didn't mention my parents or my sister. Does that make me a bad person?
William, it's good to see you again. It's been a while since I last, I think it was Togo, actually.
Oh, okay. That's a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too long, but in these times, it feels like a long time.
It's true.
You choose the easiest roles, obviously. I mean, dude, this is emotionally exhausting. I'm exhausted watching this film. What led you to this character?
I don't think so much about the characters. I much think about the situation, the premise. The premise is pretty good. A guy trying to rob a place, an art thief, rob art from this high-tech penthouse, hacks into the system, gets locked in there. Nobody's coming. Nobody's alerted. Nobody's coming. He's stuck there. He's in a limbo, and he's got to deal with that. And that's an interesting place to start a movie.
Well, you're every moment, every second, you're like the house. You are part of this. Is that a lot to take on?
Nah, I suppose, but it didn't feel like it. I mean, I am the house. I'm like an object in this landscape, and I like that. I'm part of it. We're all working together. The paintings, the chairs, the floor. Sounds a little nutty, but that's where you start to go. I'm not driving. I'm folding into the situation, and I'm trying to survive.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because watching it, you just feel like you really feel like I didn't feel like I was watching a character. I feel like I was watching a real person trying to deal with the situation.
Good.
Fascinating. What was it like working with this director and finding the nuance here?
One beautiful thing is we had a screenplay that was very clear in many points, but what it was clear about was certain points of obstacles and crisis in the narrative. And we had to figure out those spaces in between, those times of waiting, the boredom, where does his mind go? We had to find what the quality of that time was and how to shoot it in a way, in a cinema language, that wasn't flat or wasn't so tedious or so non-narrative that people wouldn't stay with you. So the creation of that material that was not in the screenplay was really fun. And Vasilis, the director, really worked with me to, in a kind of playful way, to invent things. And that's always fun when it's not invented out of cleverness, but invented out of the situation. We were dealing with what was in the room. And since we were shooting in chronological order, we had a kind of presence and a kind of practicality to what we were doing. We didn't have to pay off anything. We were doing what we were doing, and we were finding interesting ways to shoot it.
What are you most proud of that you accomplished in this film?
I try not to think in those terms. I mean, it's a legitimate. No, listen, people are, you do these things, and if people like the film, you want to forget yourself for a little bit. So let's not talk about things I'm prideful of. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think that was a wonderful answer. Thank you for that. Dude, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I think you're just a phenomenal talent and just a phenomenal person. So it's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, man.
Cats die. Music fades.
how the hell did this story come to you? And how do you put together an entire film, one guy trying to get out of a house? How the hell did this happen?
It happens by the power of Willem Dafoe, I think. I mean, his performance. I think that's the main ingredient, the best ingredient that this film could have. It's this performance. I don't think that this film could happen and be made by someone else. I mean, this is what I was telling to my producer from the very beginning that we started working on the project. I told him that there is no reason to make this film if we don't have an actor to this caliber. So, and I'm not talking about acting abilities, because there are thousands of actors that have tremendous acting abilities, but I'm talking about an actor that by himself is a work of art. And this is what Willem Dafoe is. It's a work of art by himself. You want to look at him, and every time you look at him, his face and his body, you see a different story. You see stories, maybe. So that's how I think it's made.
Well, I think it's interesting you say that, because it is like this film, without the detail of the house and how complex it is, and the security system and Willem's performance, you're building kind of something with both of them together. Was it easy to kind of conceptualize, okay, I know how we want to do this, I want to know how we want to go here? Was Willem a big part of that, or was that kind of your vision and you just going, go for this?
No. Willem was a big part of it, and his involvement in the film was started also from the last drafts we had in the script. We were talking about the script, and because we shot it chronologically. Okay, so there are many aspects of shooting like a documentary. So I really needed to make the best environment, meaning that to give him a co-star, that is the house, and to make this environment in the best way for him to perform and give this performance. So I promised him an amazing set, an amazing production design, and also I promised him that it will be a virtual set. So everything you see surrounded is projection of the skyline of New York. So for him, it wasn't a green screen that would go, oh look, now it's night or now it's day. He could feel it. He could see it. I mean, imagine that sometimes I got jet lagged in this set because of my brain every day for 12 hours. Didn't know what was going on with day and night. But what I promised as well, and what we did as a pact was, I mean, we had this brilliant script by Ben Hopkins, and we will use it. We know that we're having a good film, but by having the luxury of shooting chronologically, we would expand to that and try new things and try things that were coming on our way and try improvising. So I would say that there is a big percentage of the film, like 30, I would say even 40% of the film, that were not scripted. There are things that we were finding on our way and ideas that came in our way, because as he was Willem performing, becoming Nemo, he was becoming Nemo. So there were new things, new reactions to this set. So it was very organic and an amazing experience, and an amazing experience at the end of the day.
I feel you, brother. I gotta set you free.
With modern technology, we're in a world where that's a real nightmare. It's a very, obviously most of us aren't stealing paintings and stuff like that, but there's something, what was the most difficult process for you creating the visuals and creating that house? What was the hardest decision you made to kind of create this just fascinating visual feature?
I mean, it wasn't that hard, because I did so much research about, architectural research about the penthouses and the houses that I wanted to do. Definitely, I'm a big fan of brutalist architecture, so I really wanted to go this way. But also there were many times in my mind, what if the house, it's not so aesthetically austere and modern? Or, I mean, imagine the house being like a tram tower loft. You know what I mean? that
Yeah.
would be a completely different film. So I thought that I needed the house to be on this way, to be very austere and reflect the personality of the owner. That you never know who the owner is, never see him, and mirroring his personality and character through the works of art, the artworks, and the way that the building, the apartment was built. But to tell you the truth, from the beginning, I knew how this apartment should look. It is funny that to tell you the truth, I built the house, the apartment that I would love to have. It was like commissioning a house to an architect. So yes, that would be my apartment. If I had the money and the means, that would be an apartment that I would love to have.
So you should have worked that out with Focus Features. Said, hey, you know what? We really I want this house too. Can I keep the house afterwards? One of the things that I find so amazing about the film is that, like you said, it's him. You don't know a thing about the owner of the apartment of the house until it's revealed in his art. It's revealed in a really interesting way, and it's also fun to watch Willem's reaction to this world that he's kind of thrust into. Who created the art and all the beautiful paintings and the wild look of the film? Who did you work with to get that look right?
I mean, look, I'm lucky in many levels. I shouldn't say lucky. I'm blessed in many levels because I had the creative support from Leonardo Bicazzi as art curator for the film, that in 4 months, in really limited time, he got in touch with all these amazing super artists and acquired their artworks. That was one of the most difficult tasks for the film. And I'm saying difficult because when an artist is living, is alive, it's difficult to, they are very protective of their work. It's not when the work leaves the gallery and goes to a film, they lose control of what's going on. They have they really needed to trust us, to get the trust from them that we will use their artworks in the best way and in a very respectful way. So Leonardo convinced all these huge artists. We're talking about like Maurizio Catalan. We had Francesco Clemente that he painted a watercolor piece just for our film.